Welcome to the show. Against my better judgment, hit the like, smash subscribe. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome to the show. Against my better judgment, hit the like, smash subscribe. Let's go, let's go. Welcome to the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome to the show.
Bitch. Oh my goodness. Candace Owens is literally burning down Turning Point USA one little piece at a time, isn't she? Literally one little lie at a time. It is absolutely, it's just so wonderful to see. It's just so wonderful to see, honestly. Yeah, she's been up to it. Love the intro song. Thank you, Kim. I actually wrote it. I wrote it and I had AI make a song. I wanted it to be like, who did I say? I used the Suno AI program and I asked it to make it like, no, I can't remember the name. Sleep Token. I wanted it to be like Sleep Token. So I wrote some lyrics for it. That and my outro song is same thing, AI and all that good stuff. Welcome in, everybody. Honeybee was the first one here. Thank you for popping in, honey, early to say hello. Now, listen up, people. I've got two streams running. I've got a vertical for the people who like that format, and then I've got the big one running for people who like that format. If you are in the wrong one and you don't like it, just simply, if you're in the vertical and don't like it, want to be in the bigger ones, click the link in the description. It's literally right there. If you scroll into the description, it's right there. G Keyman also posted it in the comment section, so you can click that at any time and it will bring you to the full screen version. Although I think it's easier to chat in the vertical version, to be honest, but you won't see the other chat. I might put the chat up here like this for you guys. And if you just pay attention to that, you'll see everybody's chat, like what everyone is saying, but it kind of clutters up the screen a little bit sometimes. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see it or not, because I think it kind of clutters things up a little bit. So I might just take it down. Just go to the stream you want to go on if you want to comment. All right, I see every comment though from both streams. But welcome in, everybody. Like I said, Honey was here first. Thank you so much. G Keyman is here. I saw G Keyman in the chat. Jess and family is here. Bittersweet is here. Bittersweet said, thank God I've been bored. Well, girl, we got some stuff to talk about. Of course, my cheesy friend is here. What is up? Coco Bean. Hi, Coco Bean. Jen Garcia. Hello, hello. He said, my bestie, snarky bitch. I'm so here for you. I'm so here for this today. I need you to make me laugh like you do so easily. Oh, I'm glad I can bring you guys a laugh with the news, of course, and with all the drama. AC, welcome in. DNA King. Hello, hello. We've got Erica's here, and Jeannie. I said hi to Jeannie, I think. Hi, Jeannie. How are you? D Dog is here. What's up, D? Amy. Hi, Amy. Hello, hello. I think that's every. I don't know. I'm sure I missed somebody because I didn't scroll to the exact top. Kim, I don't know if I said hi to Kim. 20's here. What's up, 20? What is up? What is up, Elmer? Hello. Yeah, hi guys. Welcome in Painful Truth, and I think I said hi to Amy, Deb, Daisy, Rack Rocks. I think I'm saying that wrong. I apologize. Chuck Soup is here. So hello everyone. Stormy Days. I love that name, Stormy Days. I actually really love that one. You guys think of the best names all the time. All the time. I find your guys' names just are amazing. Wish I would have thought of a cool name for my channel, but I figured, you know what? It's everything I'm saying is against my better judgment, and so that's what I'm gonna name it. But anyways, welcome in everybody. Yeah, so we all have been following the the Charlie Kirk unaliving. We've all kind of been following every move Candace makes, everything Baron talks about. And so you probably already know that Candace Owens has been locked in on this Charlie Kirk unaliving case for months, right? Digging through timelines, witness statements, hospital details, and literally every piece of footage that she can get her hands on. Well, yesterday on her show, she dropped yet another huge bomb, a huge bomb. She released never before seen bystander footage from the Losee Rooftop. Now, I have to say, this is crazy. All right, so remember Officer Bagley? We saw him testifying under oath. We watched the entire court hearing. He was up there talking. I really was sus of that dude from go. All right, I was sus of that dude from the jump. He seemed a little off to me. I just didn't care for how he just doesn't remember anything, right? You're supposed to be an officer of the law. I'm sorry, you're supposed to remember tons of things. I mean, even on the tests for a police officer, they show you a picture for like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and then take the picture away and tell you to just tell them everything you saw in that picture. You should see license plates and, colors and how many vehicles and if there's any pedestrians and what kind of clothes are they wearing. They literally want you to see every detail. Every single detail. They don't want you to miss a single detail. And the more details you remember, the better, the better you are, right? The more points you get, the better of a score you get. But this Officer Bagley, he literally just had such a problem remembering almost everything that happened that day, probably the biggest case of his life, and he just can't remember shit. Okay. Well, he testified under oath that he had no idea who the plainclothes man with him, who was like walking around with him, he had a what, and they both ran up to the rooftop. They were both there right after the big bang. And it was, at that moment that his body camera actually shut off as well. I mean, it was running for about 27 minutes and it just died. Just mysteriously died, right? Well, Candace's footage fills in all those blanks. Literally every blank is filled, and the man has been identified. This unidentified man who just, Officer Bagley just couldn't remember. He just saw him, saw he had a firearm, saw he had like a badge, and he was like, yeah, cover my back. I mean, after I wouldn't think you would go to a plainclothes dude just wandering around the scene if you didn't know who it was, right? Because it could definitely be a suspect. You don't know. But that's exactly what Officer Bagley did. He ran up. It's like, hey, I need some backup. Let's go. Well, the man has been identified as Alan Robertson, who is a Utah State University public safety officer. So kind of like a police officer for the Utah State University. I suppose they borrowed some for this event because they didn't have enough to cover the event. So they borrowed some from the, Utah State University, and he came in and he was in there doing that. We found out that he was a former Marine marksmanship instructor, and he actually appeared to be directing the activity on the rooftop, on the ground, even. I mean, it was really weird. And here's the part that raised even more eyebrows. Okay. Candace Owens pointed out that Robertson has been like he has an entry on the Brady list. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, which of course I didn't know until yesterday what the Brady list was, but it is a roster that prosecutors keep of law enforcement officers who basically have documented histories of misconduct, dishonesty, or other issues that could potentially damage their credibility if they would testify in court. It comes from a 1963 Supreme Court case that required prosecutors to turn over any information that could help the defense challenge a witness's credibility. Right? So if this guy has some like issues and problems and he gets on the stand, they can say, look, you know, he's on this list. We already know he's a dishonest POS, right? We already know that he ignores this or does this or did that, whatever it is, right? Well, he's on that list. We just don't know what for, because for some reason, wherever he came from, and I think California he came from, they don't keep up to date on that Brady list. They don't feel like they have to be a part of it. So they just don't do it. But he's on there. His name's on there. Right now, being on it doesn't automatically mean that the officer is like fired or whatever, but it just flags them as someone whose past problems actually have to be disclosed. Like they're kind of big because they have to be disclosed. Candace also walked through the new video of the gloves that were found in Charlie's SUV. All right. We saw that the door pockets were empty when Charlie gets out of he gets to the event, he pulls up to the event, he gets out of the vehicle, and I guess Mikey McCoy's videoing Charlie Kirk exiting the vehicle, and his video kind of sweeps across that door, and we see that it's empty. Those little pockets inside the door are completely empty. So the gloves show up in the pictures of the SUV in the aftermath of Charlie's unaliving. Now, what the hell is that about? Where did they come from? Why were they wearing gloves? What's going on? How did they have time to put on gloves if all they were doing was stopping the bleeding? I think I need to get a little video clip of Frank Turek saying stopping the bleeding. Remember, I showed it on that video, and there was like a few different times he said it. I really need to get a clip of that. So every time I say it, I can insert it right here, right? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how they had time to like put on gloves, because that takes a little bit sometimes getting those gloves on. That takes a minute, and if your hands are damp, like say for instance, if they had some type of red liquid on them and you're trying to put gloves on wet hands, it's even takes longer, right? It's really awkward. It's hard to get them on. It's hard to get them down your fingers, so it's like, I thought they were stopping the bleeding like the whole entire time. So I don't know how they had time to put gloves on. But anyways, now this is raising questions about, of course, what happened during this short ride to the hospital. Okay. So in short, the official testimony and the video evidence are not lining up. Big surprise. Big surprise to all of us, right? And of course, dude, the second Candace drops like an episode and she actually even drops a piece of evidence, a new picture, a new video, literally the usual suspects on X go nuclear. Blake Neff and others from the Turning Point side are already accusing Candace of putting the officer's life at risk for identifying the guy. It's like, bitch, really? Putting his life at risk because we know who he is. I mean, we know who Cash Patel is. We know who Officer Bagley is. We know who all these officers are. Well, we should know, right? We should know. These are like, they're employees basically of us, right? They kind of forget that, right? They kind of forget they're public servants. They serve the public. Who's the public? We're the public. So we have every right to know who's out there serving us. Okay? But no. Candace is putting his life in danger, guys. Putting his life in danger. What a bitch. What a bitch, I tell you. Yeah, so Bagley said he couldn't remember who it was. Candace figured it out for him. Okay? It's just the same old pattern, right? Every time she fills in another blank or presents any key pieces of information or actual evidence, they come after her even harder. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We've got new exclusive footage, major inconsistencies with Officer Bagley and his testimony, right? The mystery man on the roof who happens to be on a Brady list, the gloves, and the predictable backlash. So we're going to walk through all of that. Let's just get right into it. Let me see what you guys are over here saying, okay? Oh my God, somebody gifted 5 memberships. Holy shite. Holy shite. I actually might have 5 I could gift. Let me see. Oh my, let me see. Oh, look at that. I did. Well, congratulations to anybody who got a membership, Painful Truth. Thank you for sending out 5 memberships. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Yes, red liquid would for sure make it harder to put on some gloves. It would make it very difficult, right? Your hands are wet. You know how that is. Especially, I think if you cook a lot, you kind of know, right? Or if you have a sick loved one at home where you need to, change bandages or things like that, you're putting on these gloves all the time, and any little moisture on your hands just makes it such a pain in the butt. And so it's not that it would take forever, but it does take longer. It is a little bit awkward. And especially if you're like in a rush and you're fumbling around. So it's very strange that these gloves are even in there, right? Because what do you need gloves for? What do you actually need gloves for? I don't understand. Thank you for going live. I'm so grateful and need a dose of you and the awesome chatty friends today. Yes, we have the best chat. We have the best chat. Okay. And don't let anybody tell you any different. Scotty's here. What's up, Scotty? Black Smoke Joe. What is up? What is up? KK says, why didn't he keep them on in the emergency room? Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. He just took them off after whatever he was doing. He took them off. He guessed he didn't need them anymore as he was, cutting off shirts and jumping on gurneys and whatever else the hell they were doing. It took 4 of them to do. I don't know. It's a very, very big mystery. All right, guys. So remember how I said I was trying to quit saying, I can't remember what it was I was trying to quit saying. I can't remember. It was like one of these things, like, you know what I mean? Or, or something like that. Well, now I'm trying to remember to look into the camera because I'm always looking at the comments because I want to see what you guys are saying. So I feel like I'm looking at you when I'm looking in this direction, but you don't see me doing that. You see me looking away from you when I look at the comments. So I'm trying to connect to the camera a little bit more. So if you see me looking over here, type it in the chat like, bitch, straighten up. Every once in a while it's okay, but I got to keep remembering that you guys are here, not here. Let's see. Angry Poe, why would they be at risk? I'm not really sure what you guys were talking about at that point in time. And there's the 5 memberships I gifted. So there's 10 memberships out there floating around for you guys. Whoever got one, just thank Painful Truth because he gave them out. Snoops is here. Welcome in, Snoops. Welcome in. Yes, if you are on the vertical version and you prefer the bigger screen version, please just click the link that is in the pinned comment or the link that's in the description. You can go right over there, click it, and come over to the bigger screened version. Okay, I apologize, but I like running 2 streams because I like to get as many people here as we can, and some people prefer that. So welcome in, everybody. If you're just coming in, we're talking about all the crazy inconsistencies that Candace has pointed out, especially yesterday's episode, where she kind of connected the dots, identified an unknown man, and wait until you see this clip that I got from Project Constitution over on X. Did you know that Dan Bongino was up on that roof with Kash Patel and another unidentified man? I just really have a huge issue with that because isn't Dan Bongino retired? Doesn't he do podcasting now? Isn't he just like me sitting in his house talking into a microphone? Why is he able to be allowed to be pulled up onto the roof? I don't get that. I don't understand that. Not one bit. No, sir. No, I don't. No, I do not. Let me see if I can pull it up. I can't see anything. Of course, everything's all screwed up. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, he's up on the roof. Here he is, up on the roof with everybody. He's literally up on the roof. Him and, do you guys see it? Yes, him and there's good old Kash Patel, some guys in suits, but who in the hell's the guy in the plaid t-shirt? Nobody knows who he is, I guess. Project Constitution has like a thing out, like, if you know who this is, blah, da, da, da. And I'm sure if we identify him, he'll be like, everyone will be like, good, his life's at risk now, because you know who the public servant is. Like, get on out of here with that, right? Right. So it's very strange. Like, I didn't realize Dan Bongino could just hop up on a fucking crime scene and be traipsing around on a crime scene. He's a podcaster now, right? He literally no longer works for the feds, right? Am I wrong? What? Dan Flood. That could be Dan Flood. I thought he had maybe, I can't remember what he was wearing that day. I just find it weird, right? Look at all these people on the rooftop. What in the world? Yeah, Jeannie said the same thing as me. What in the world? Like, what in the world are they all up there doing? It's weird. Like, why is he up there? I just don't care for that. I don't like that. If he's just a random podcaster, why is he allowed on a crime scene? It absolutely just isn't computing in my mind right now. It's not making any type of sense. Okay. Also, we've got a little bit of intel from Project Constitution I want to share with you guys, because I thought it was kind of important, right? Kind of important. This is in regards to the details on how Kash Patel refused to get off his plane in Provo until agents found him an FBI raid jacket borrowed from a female agent, right? A female agent. That's Kash Patel's size, I guess. He's like a little mini me, okay? So according to multiple sources inside the bureau, Kash Patel arrived at Provo and refused to get off the plane without the raid jacket. I mean, I guess so. I mean, is the raid jacket like just a jacket or a bulletproof thing? If it's just a jacket, I'm done. Like, I'm literally done. I was thinking it was like a bulletproof thing. I think they just mean like a jacket. Like, he just wanted a cool jacket. I don't think it's bulletproof at all. Right? It's just a fucking jacket. What a wackadoo. Okay, so he then refuses to leave until SWAT team members removed patches from their own uniforms and ran them over to him. So he came basically unprepared, and he needed to borrow a whole bunch of shit off of everybody, and he refused to do anything until he had all the appropriate, like the cool jacket and the outfit and stuff. I guess so that when he was filmed up on the roof, he would look like a badass, right? In his sunglasses and all his gear, that it actually was like it's like a lady's outfit. Before arriving, Patel called Salt Lake City SAC Robert Bowles, yelled at him, and asked if he needed to come out and run the investigation himself. He later delivered an expletive-laden tirade at Bowles. Dan Bongino had to call afterward and apologize. Like, why is Dan Bongino's name even being brought up? I don't understand that at all. I'm very confused. Agents say Patel broke FBI tradition by taking public credit for the work of other agencies and implying the results wouldn't have been possible without him. Multiple sources cited Patel for revealing far too many details of the evidence in the Kirk case to the public, something experienced agents say damaged the integrity of the ongoing investigation. They attribute it to his lack of real law enforcement leadership experience. At the September 11th press conference in Utah, sources say Patel appeared uneasy, with his eyes darting around the room. This is the leadership that was in charge of the Kirk investigation from day one. There's a full report. He says, read the full report below. Charlie Kirk Provo plane incident starts on page 27. Holy shite, that's a lot of pages, right? So he's got the entire thing here. They really, really wrote a report about this, guys, like a legit report. Key findings, their lack of experience. This is wild. I didn't realize they like literally actually wrote a report on this a-hole. Unbelievable. Look at this. FBI leadership's unfortunate obsession with social media. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Despite receiving no specific requests to provide feedback on the issue, multiple sources volunteered their comments negative regarding the frequent use of social media by FBI Director Kash Patel and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, with one source reporting as saying enough is enough. So I guess he's a deputy director, Dan Bongino, so he's still with the agency. I don't know. Um, Maybe he was at the time and he's not any longer. I don't know. I just found it strange. Like I thought he wasn't with the FBI anymore. I really thought it was weird. Very strange. All right, so let me. Oh, geez, oh man, I can never see this. My camera sits right where my buttons are, and I can't see the buttons ever. All right. So of course, Candace is out here posting. She posted 3 hours ago that I thought this one time Turning Point would thank me for filling in the blanks for this officer who experienced rooftop amnesia. Instead, Blakey Neff is upset again and claims I put this officer's life at risk by helping to solve the mystery. Beavis and Butthead cosplaying the Charlie Kirk show continues. And this is just Candace Owens with that little, thing there. And yeah, look, Candace actually, remember we talked about this one yesterday in yesterday's live stream. This is actually somebody's that's actually somebody's 1 year report on how many times they posted about Candace on X. That's one person's. Candace evidently found that too. She found that too. She was like, bitch, what? Let's see. So all right. So I guess Artifacts is a former TPUSA employee of some sort. I don't know if he was a chapter person or whatever, but he's been out here posting about Turning Point USA, Blake Neff, all those guys for a while. He's pretty ticked off at them. He goes off on Blake Neff all the time. He goes like, that Mason kid, Mason something or other, he's always going off on them too. And yeah, Artifacts has a good little clip here that I wanted to show you guys. He says, how and why did Charlie Kirk still die if Andrew Colvett and the FBI were informed of the threats against his life before the shooting happened? And here is a clip that he has. This is from a Spaces. It's only 38 seconds long, so I'd like to listen to it with you guys because evidently they knew something was going, there was threats against Charlie's life and something might happen. I mean, this combined with Charlie, guys, honestly, this combined with Charlie Kirk literally texting a bunch of his friends and saying, listen, I think I'm going to be unalived tomorrow. I think something's going wrong. Something's happening here, etc. Them knowing that there were actual other threats to him, then him like saying, I think I'm going to be unalived. It's just a lot, right? It's a lot to process the fact that all of these people let him down so freaking badly. They just really let him down in every way possible, right? Let's have a listen to this very quickly and see what they had to say.
Just like saying false things like, oh, you guys have never bothered to try to look for it? Okay, well, we compiled a bunch of TikToks and various other things that looked suspicious to us before the shooting happened, and we sent them to the FBI to investigate. Why would we do that if we didn't care? All those texts that were ended up like coming out where Charlie's like complaining about his Jewish donors, as has already been established, those came out because Andrew sent them to the government because he thought, hey, leave no stone unturned. Like, it's just completely false to say that we've just stood up there and said, we're not asking any questions. We're not doing anything to try to further the like discovery of truth on this. It's just like a false thing. Just like saying false things like, oh, you guys have never bothered to try to look for it? Okay, well, we compiled a bunch of TikToks and various
false things. You guys are just saying false things. That's what they do. They say very false things, right? And look, who's all on here? The same old crew. Lisa blows. Paralyzed testicle. At least Mason Lemmy. That's it. Mason Lemmy's the other kid who ends up telling them off all the time, right? He tells them off all the time. But it's just very interesting, right? Everybody just knew. And then we actually heard Erica Kirk herself, guys. Do you remember this? We literally watched Erica Kirk saying that they get threats all the time. It's just amazing to me. She said, look, we've been hearing they have, what's on these college campuses. We've been hearing about this all the time. They've got lots and lots of these on college campuses anymore. So they kind of, what? Yeah, I could see Blake saying it with his hands on his hips. I could see that. I could totally see that. I brought a couple pictures here. I wanted to just put them up when I'm talking, but when I use them on the vertical section, it really shrinks down. So you guys aren't going to see much of it, but I'm going to put it up just for your entertainment, right? This is good old. This is Blake holding his friend Andrew. Obviously, his arms around Andrew, and he's holding on to a foot. You can see the stinky foot. That's his mom's foot. You can see he's like really stinky, and Andrew's like gagging because he stinks so bad. So I thought this represented those guys rather well. Thought you guys might enjoy that. But yeah, I could see Blake Neff with his hand on his hip, stinking like dirty old feet. Blubbering and blabbing, because that's what he does. That's what he does. So here he is, obviously. In today's episode, Candace starts harassing. She's harassing, guys. I didn't realize that just speaking about a public servant who, happened to be leading the charge in an unaliving case that's very public, right? It's a political unaliving. I didn't realize that knowing who the people were who was investigating was like harassing them. But evidently Blake says, Candace is harassing another random Utah police officer. She accuses him of being a dirty cop. I didn't hear her say that. She suggests it's suspiciously timed that he moved to Utah a whole year before Charlie's unaliving, then asks people who knew him in the Marines years ago to send her dirt on him so she can harass him more. Well, let me tell you something. I'm just going to stop right here and, mention the fact that he was doing things that he shouldn't have been doing, or at the very least, why did they lie about it in court? It's very, very obvious something is wrong here because they completely omitted his presence at the crime scene in court. Didn't bring his name up at all, even though they literally walked hand in hand up to the rooftop. The guy was on the roof with them. I think the guy told him to go to the roof. Didn't he have a conversation on the sidebar with him right before he decided to head towards the roof? I mean, completely omitting somebody's presence in a court hearing is very suspicious. And we're all going, why did you do that? So yeah, we have a right to know who it was. Well, we have a right to know why they fought so hard to completely omit his appearance in the courtroom. Going so far as to really he's pushing the truth, right? I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It seems like he's pushing it right to the line because he doesn't technically lie unless he does remember the guy's name. That's the only thing he really lied about, right? He did all this. He tells everybody about that stuff. Then he says, this guy, he just can't remember who it is. Just can't remember who it is. He goes on to say, we already saw this with the police sergeant she went after 2 weeks ago that got bored with, Oh, so she went after one 2 weeks ago, then got bored with. Candace feels no shame about harassing any person she feels like just to keep her grift going while maybe hurting a few people along the way. It's just hilarious hearing somebody douchey like Blake speak about that kind of stuff, right? Here's his actual, wait, it didn't come up. There's his actual post. But yeah, he's like talking about Candace like she's some kind of piece of crap for just recognizing that there was another officer there that day. And they completely forgot to tell us who the hell it was, right? Completely forgot to tell us who it was. They're like, yeah, dude, I don't know. He turns it into like Candace just bashing another officer. And to be honest, what do you guys think about that? If you are a, officer of the law and you're serving during a political unaliving, don't you think people have the right to know who it is that's investigating? I mean, just let me know in chat what you guys think about that. I kind of find it strange that they didn't tell us about him. Yeah, they keep saying grift. Yeah, they do. They keep saying grift like it's a grift to discuss the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. And they're like supposed to be his friends. They're like supposed to be his. Well, Andrew Corvett's supposed to be his friend. Blake Neff, I have a feeling they weren't friends. I have a feeling they were not friends at all. I have a feeling Charlie didn't care for Blake at all. I mean, I've seen posts from a couple different people who actually was around, were around the group of people there. And yeah, evidently Charlie really didn't talk about important things in front of Blake. He had to wait for him to like get the hell out of there before he would even discuss things with other people. And so every time Blake says something that he knows about Charlie, I just laugh because I think, well, you probably don't really even know anything because Charlie didn't talk about literally anything in front of you because you were just a little, an a-hole. Allegedly is what I heard. So yeah, I don't know about all that. Don't know about all that. And this was just basically, Blake's response to Luke saying, despite you view Deputy Bagley's failing memory, today it was revealed that the plainclothes officer that accompanied him on the Losee building rooftop was one of his fellow USU deputies, Alan Robertson. Does anyone know about his history with San Bernardino County sheriffs? And here's a little clip. It's long. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but this is Candace basically talking about this guy and where he came from and what the hell's going on.
It ever even works for that particular gun. That part's a bit strange. We do know it has Lance Twiggs's DNA alongside Tyler Robinson's DNA. Unfortunately, we can't even look at the moment that this screwdriver is found on the rooftop because unfortunately Officer Bagley's body cam went off at the exact wrong time. And we know he was with somebody, accompanied by somebody in plain clothes onto that rooftop when he found that screwdriver. And we would love to be able to ask that guy questions, but well, Officer Bagley didn't get his name or something.
The way she says that is the best.
Couldn't just be like,
that
hey,
is the best.
So I can see who I was on the rooftop with for this really important moment where we find Tyler Robinson's DNA.
She's like, or something. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. Anyway, let's listen to some of his less than compelling moments from his testimony at the preliminary hearing.
Absolutely.
Take a listen.
It appears to me from reviewing your body camera that there was another individual who was with you that went to the Losee building who was in civilian clothing but appeared to have a gun. Who was that?
I don't know who he was exactly. He had a badge on, and I had somebody with me to back me up as I ran up the stairs to make sure I had somebody with me.
So you don't know what agency he's from or where he's from?
No.
And it looked like he had a pistol.
Yes.
Is that right?
A handgun, yes.
I mean, let me just say, I find that highly suspicious because you literally somebody just got unalived, right? We don't know who did it at this point. We're all running around, right? Looking for evidence, looking for things, whatever. And you don't know who actually did this. And you don't know if somebody's holding a weapon, if they have a fake badge. You wouldn't know if that badge is real unless you knew that person, right? You wouldn't know unless you checked it out, made sure it was legit, those types of things. But the way he just was like, hey, that guy has a weapon. That guy's a weapon. Wonder if does he have a badge? I don't know. Let's head up to the roof. Random dude in plain clothes who doesn't have a body cam. Let's go on up there. Let's go on up there and see what happened. And hopefully they're going to play out exactly what happened that day.
Yeah. And like I said, 10 months later, he had no desire to just go over to the campus that he works on and say, hey, could you run the tape back? I'd like to see who I was on the rooftop with when I found this incredible piece of evidence. And he explains further about the body cam losing that footage. Take a listen.
All right, your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay.
Someone in my comment section, guys, said that those things that record the body cams, there's actually a way that they can determine how it was shut off. Like each time it's shut off, it determines how it was shut off. Was it shut off manually or was it shut off due to battery failure? And there's actually a record of that. So if he shut this off manually, we might not be able to find out right now while the court hearing is going on until the court case is completely over, but somebody could FOIA request his body cam footage and the records that go along with it and find out whether or not that was turned off manually or if the battery actually died. I'd be interested to see that. eventually, right? Eventually, I'd like to see that. And we've got 251 people here. Everybody hit the like button, please. I beg you to hit that like so we can get this live stream sent out to more people. Please stick around. We're trying to figure out what exactly Candace revealed yesterday and just talk about how this impacts the actual case and what we know, right? So let's continue.
And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it? I don't know. What do you have to do? Charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic running around.
So that 27-minute and 35-second body cam that starts when you're at the Hall of Flags and ends while you're still on the roof, but haven't put the crime tape up yet. That's the only body cam you have that day?
Yes.
You know, people are speculating that Officer Bagley might not be telling the whole truth. You know, they say you're going to tell the truth, the whole truth,
Yep.
nothing but the truth.
That's exactly what I
He might
say.
be telling the truth. His body cam footage was off, how it got off, maybe not the whole truth, and the nothing but the truth. People are going, I don't know. See, there's some weird things. We're going to address this timeline here. Take a look at this, right? I want to point your attention to 12:39 p.m. The first FBI agents arrive at UVU with the chiefs of police. That's what we are told. We were told it took
Make this
16
bigger.
minutes, according to Cash Patel and Dan Bongino in various interviews before they got there and secured the scene. So that's before 12:44, which is when Officer Bagley testifies that he arrives on the rooftop, right? He gets onto Losee building at 12:44. He discovers that screwdriver 10 to 15 feet past the railing in the gravel. Now, let's listen to Cash Patel say that, so there's no confusion that that's what we were told by the FBI.
Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene.
Again, what I want to stress
That's
here is
so
that it took 16
interesting.
minutes for them to arrive on scene. That is remarkably fast, given
Yes,
the
it
FBI
is.
office is actually located in Salt Lake City. That's a 50-minute drive. It's actually
What?
incredible that they got there that quickly. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they had foreknowledge. They have a little office in a building in Provo nearby that has apparently 4 agents. So I'm stressing that because I want to underscore, and you can come out of that, guys. I want to underscore that Officer Bagley went onto Losee Rooftop after the feds had arrived and had secured and began securing the scene. And we can assume that the FBI is not going to allow just anybody to traverse onto Losee Rooftop, right? Or onto any rooftop for that matter, because they're looking for a potential sniper, right? Randos in plain clothes jumping onto rooftops
Yes.
without the right credentials in the middle of a manhunt for a sniper. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to wind up dead, really, if you were just playing around. So this Officer Bagley story isn't exactly tracking. And like I said, he should have had access to the cameras to figure out who he was up there with. And it's just astonishing that he claims it's a plainclothes officer who just had a badge and he doesn't remember. So I'm thinking in my head, examining the facts, that whoever he was with had to have had some rank feds on the scene. They would send themselves up there. They're not going to just let some scrub officer take over. Now, lucky for Officer Bagley, I went combing through all the footage that was sent to me on September 10th, and lo and behold, Officer Bagley gets up there at 12:44. I was able to find some footage of who Officer Bagley was with. It was captured by a bystander at.
This is so hilarious. The thought that they thought that nobody was going to figure this out, just astonishing to me. Astonishing to me, right? They thought they had this. They're like, we're good. We got this. We'll send Officer Bagley in to testify. No need. We need a guy to come up here with, I can't be the one that says I found this. We need somebody else up here. Who could we get? I mean, just blows my mind.
12:47 p.m. Thank you, Candace. Oh my gosh, you're welcome, Officer Bagley. I'm sure that's what you wanted. You just probably wanted to positively ID who was on the Losee Rooftop Center with you. And despite all of the resources of the feds and UVU police and all the cameras, you couldn't do it before that preliminary hearing when you sit down with your lawyer and try to make sure that you have every possible detail remembered. But here I am to save the day. Here is the footage. Let's watch that. 12:47 p.m. Random person walking and they catch Losee Rooftop. Who could that be? Who is that, dear? Who is
Oh my
man
God.
in
Candace's voice.
a plain clothes? Let's bring that closer, actually.
Oh my
Let's,
gosh.
Oh, Officer Bagley, I think that might be you. Because here you are, lower. We have a close-up of him down there wearing the hat and looks a little baldy on the side. Could be you, definitely, but we definitely can ID the other guy. Let's show them on that rooftop again. Oh, bag with the red hat. Losee Rooftop. So who is that guy in plain?
Is he carrying a bag too? Is he carrying some type of bag with him so that he could have potentially had something in that bag, right? Something could be in that bag that he's hauling around with him. It's kind of weird.
Plain clothes on Losee with a bag and a backpack.
Yep,
Well, first and
backpack.
foremost, credit to Muppet Masher on X, who was able to identify the person. It is Officer Alan Robinson from the Utah State University Department
Alan
of Public Safety.
Robertson.
Utah State University. So not even a UVU officer. Now, this guy, in theory, is just supposed to be a part of general reinforcements on that day. A nobody. A nobody. But I'm excited that we at least get to add this, presumably a nobody, to our list of ever-growing list of people who are brand new. Because he had just joined the USU police force the summer before. Here's the announcement on Facebook. They announced on Facebook that he had joined. And another weird thing that we noted while going back and reviewing that footage, but Alan Robertson, as we're going through all that early footage, he actually seems like he's the person that's immediately in charge. We're going to unpack that further this week. Very weird. We're told he's just some rookie officer from Utah State University who was helping out at the event, maybe some crowd control. It's not even his campus. Why would anyone listen to this dude? It's a good question, right? Why would anyone? I'd be like, this isn't your campus. More
That's
importantly,
so
why is
true.
Officer Bagley seemingly running cover for this rookie? Seemingly, allegedly. Kind of makes me think that this guy is maybe more important than Officer Bagley is letting on. Gratefully, YouTuber Nisi, who does fantastic work, by the way, was able to put through a list of several things, question marks about Officer Bagley's testimony that don't appear at second glance to be, well, nothing but the truth. Take a listen.
So they describe a man with a badge and a pistol who went with him to the roof. The individual that fits that description is this red hat guy with the khaki shorts. He has a bag with a badge on it, and he was walking around with a handgun. The ex-account Muppet Masher identified the red hat guy as Alan Robertson and his friend in the blue shirt as Christopher Haycock. In the Life is Driving footage, you see him walking around and texting and making calls, and this really stood out to me because you don't see any other law enforcement officers doing this. Ultimately, Officer Bagley's version of events just doesn't line up with the available footage. So the question is, why lie? Allegedly. He fails to mention that the man in the red hat was the one that alerted him to the holster. He fails to mention that he had a conversation with the man in the red hat before going to the Losee Center roof. And it is interesting that they get there and conveniently his body camera just stops running. He says the battery died, but the camera had only been running for 27 minutes, and these body cameras are supposed to last around 10 hours.
Seems a little suspicious. You were already taking orders from him about the holster. You just didn't mention that throughout your testimony at all. Why are we seemingly providing coverage for a rookie? From Terrell Farnsworth to Officer Bagley, there seems to be an immediate understanding that this Alan Robertson character, who shall not be named, is calling the shots. It's as though he's like in command of the post-assassination operation. And you know what's funny about that? We decided to look into him, and that is actually what he did, but in the military. You see, Alan Robertson is actually a United States Marine. Ah, that makes sense.
There is so many connections to the military in this case. I find it just absolutely bonkers. All the things that we are finding wrong in this case are off, right? All these inconsistencies, all these little just things that are just like bumps in the road, a little bit strange, a little bit abnormal. It's like if one of those things happened, if just one happened, we would look at it and go, oh, you know what? Like, no big deal, right? Oh, things happen. We know nothing's like perfect, right? None of these cases go actually perfect. But there's like a thousand things that just keep being inconsistent or wrong or strange or off in some way. And it's just so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. I cannot believe they want us to swallow this Fed slop. And there's actually people out there promoting it, telling us we're crazy for noticing all this nonsense.
And according to his LinkedIn, he was the marksmanship instructor for the Marines from 2009 to 2014 at Camp Pendleton, which is in California. It's a Marine base.
Oh,
He's been deployed in combat.
hang on. Congratulations. Amy, congratulations. A great aunt. That is awesome. That is awesome. I don't have any grandbabies yet. Or, I'm not a great aunt yet. Someday, maybe. Someday. I'm getting that baby fever. You know how that you get like the baby fever again when you get older. I would love to have like a little grandbaby, but not me. Congratulations, Amy. That's awesome.
Afghanistan. He was also deployed in humanitarian work in Japan. For the Marines
humanitarian
before he arrived into
work.
Utah. I'm right now about
More humanitarian work. More humanitarian work. Why is it they all have strange ass backgrounds? Humanitarian work, military connections. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And did he have a maroon hat on to boot? I mean, what the hell? Honestly.
Marines getting involved in humanitarian work overseas. But he was also a police officer just before going to Utah in San Bernardino, California. But something happened. It was very short before he gets moved out to Utah. Something happened. We don't know what happened, but we believe something did because there was an entry made for him on the Brady List website. So if you've never heard of the Brady List website, it's a database of law enforcement officers who have a documented history of misconduct, dishonesty, or integrity violations. And the records are kept actually by prosecutors so that they can then share them with defense attorneys during a criminal trial. The reason is because the Brady List explicitly deals with an officer's credibility as a witness. It indicates that there's internal investigators or like prosecutors are flagging an incident which involves dishonesty, perhaps falsifying a police report, a policy violation that was severe enough that the defense now has a constitutional right to know that this officer was involved in something that's not good, that puts his credibility in the spotlight. And so he has an entry, so to speak, on Brady List website, and we looked, and I thought, well, maybe there's an entry for every officer in the land. And I read their about section. I searched online. It said, nope, that's not what they do. But in particular, most of the people who are on this website, they have a link to what their, if you want to call them offenses are, or what they were involved in that earned them to be mentioned on the Brady List website. But Alan Robertson and every police officer that is at San Bernardino has a blank under here. And it tells us that the absence of disclosed material is affected by institutional limitations. And then it says San Bernardino Police Department is not in compliance with its Brady disclosure obligations. So every officer that is working at San Bernardino that has an entry on this website, there are no details that are provided. And when you click, what does it mean to not be in compliance? I mean, it sounds like they can just give you the runaround if they want and say, we are in compliance with the Brady stuff, but maybe it's an ongoing investigation. You can click through and look at this yourself. Alan E. Robertson, my assumption is he has an entry and they're not able to get details on it. Obviously, you guys also know there's a lot of corruption in the San Bernardino, California Police Department. And so we are looking for information to be able to verify whether or not there was an incident involving Alan E. Robertson in California, which earned him an entry on the Brady List website. Again, we are not.
I don't see, like, let me know in chat. Do you guys see anything wrong with her asking for a little bit of information about this? I mean, this is what Blake's whole thing is, right? This is so crazy. She's trying to, put this man's life in danger, right? She's putting this man's life in danger by saying this is who it was. He's on a whole ton of videos, right? He's standing there on video, leading up the investigation, heading up the investigation, and yet we're not allowed to know who he is. And if we know who he is, then suddenly he's in danger. And now because we want to know what got him on the Brady List, right? Because sounds to me like that would be a little bit of piece of information we should probably find out, right? If he's an asshole and he does some dirty stuff, we don't want him investigating the Charlie Kirk unaliving. Why in the world would we want him to be in charge of anything if he is a dirty cop some way or did something like horrible to get himself on this Brady List? Why would we want someone like that investigating, heading up an investigation, or even being part of an investigation? What if he got in trouble for planting evidence, for example? What if that was what he got in trouble for, allegedly? Was like planting some type of evidence somewhere. And now he's investigating the Charlie Kirk unaliving, and then we've got this random screwdriver that nobody's seen being used. Nobody's seen anyone using it, right? This random just screwdriver. I put it on the thumbnail because it really stood out to me, right? We've got a random screwdriver. Nobody knows what the hell it's for. It just happens to be up on the roof, right? That's like someone like, come on. If you didn't use the screwdriver, you might as well have left like a toothbrush, a hairbrush, what? Like, it would be more plausible to put a drink there. Like he took a Gatorade up and set that down and forgot to pick it back up when he left. But a screwdriver that you're not even using, I don't know, guys. It just seems a little off to me. And so if we've got an officer that happens to be on the Brady List and we want to know what the hell he did to get on there, I don't think that's a terrible ask. And I don't think anybody's putting his life in danger just by identifying a person in a video, especially when he's the one who was heading up all this shit on the roof and then Charlie Kirk unaliving. Like, come on. Sit there and say Candace is putting someone's life in danger for asking some questions about it? Get the hell out of here. They're just mad because she has a huge audience and she can ask these questions and she can get some answers, right? There's a difference between her asking questions and her audience of 6 million people and me asking a question with my little tiny audience. That's what's going on. They're so mad because their audience is so small. They can't ask a question of anybody because no one watches them. They're so jealous of her, allegedly. It's ridiculous. It comes through in every single post. It's crazy. And Blake is the worst. The worst.
Too familiar with this website, but we have done our basic due diligence here, and we can definitively state that there is no officer in San Bernardino that has any like documented files attached. So that seems like they are correct, that they are not complying or being totally open with ongoing investigations. Is there a reason he was moved from San Bernardino to Utah? We are obviously going to turn to Californians and to ask you if you know anything. Also, people that were in the Marines, if you served alongside this Alan Edward Robertson, it could be a reason people are reluctant to name him if he had been involved in falsifying testimony. I'm not saying he was, but I'm saying that is the purpose of Brady list. If he had been involved in doing something that would render him, I guess, constitutionally, like a constitutional right, wanting to tell people.
Just say, Candace, if it rendered him to be a giant piece of garbage, if it rendered him to be a giant piece of poop, we would like to know.
Hey, this guy is no good. He's a dirty cop of some description. You could see why they are acting like they don't know he was there. Is he the kind of person who would, I don't know, maybe drop a screwdriver or lie about whether or not a screwdriver was there? I don't know. I want to know. Please send us tips to moretips@CandaceOwens.com. If you've worked with him in San Bernardino, if you know something about or involved in a case that he was involved in, if you know why he transferred, maybe we'll actually be able to fully clear his name and say, actually, he just left because he likes Utah in the summer. And he decided to go in August 2024, despite the fact that his entire life has been in California. It feels a bit precise to me. And we do know that there is this habit of when officers get in trouble, they transfer them out into other departments. So it is definitely what I would assert is a plausibility that Alan E. Robertson was involved in something in San Bernardino. We'd like to know more. Email us more tips at CandaceOwens.com. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, I really don't think Candace is harassing another police. She starts harassing another police officer. That's his claim. She's harassing him. Harassing another police officer. I mean, I don't know. Blake must not get the definition of a public servant. Okay. We all have the right to know his name. So how about we give Blake let's give Blake today's you can, you know what you can do, Blake? You can fuck all the way off with your stupid ass comment. We are allowed to know who the public servants are, especially when they are on camera, heading up a public unaliving of somebody in the, I don't know, league of Charlie Kirk. Okay. How about that, Blakey? How about that? Okay. This is not what I wanted to push. Let's do this. Okay. So yeah, I mean, he's really pissing me off today. He pisses me off every day. I don't know. And I saved this one for you guys, okay? Because Matt Walsh just posts, grocery prices are insane. They're still rising. Addressing this problem should be the #1 priority of every elected leader. End the stupid foreign wars and focus on this issue. It's one of the main reasons socialists are gaining power. Now, I don't know about it being one of the main reasons socialists are gaining power. I don't know anything about that type of thing. But I do know that grocery prices are insane, right? I think we all know this. We're all kind of getting the gist of that, right? Grocery prices are insane. Blake Neff comes back and says, Americans literally spend less of their income on food than any other country on the planet. And then he links something, okay? Here's the thing about Blake. Let me just tell you a little something about Blakey, all right? I don't need Blake to weigh in on grocery prices when he doesn't buy groceries, okay? Blake's mom buys all the groceries for the household. Blake doesn't go out and buy groceries. Are you kidding me? Like, his mom buys the groceries. His mom makes the dinners, allegedly, of course, right? The only thing he buys is maybe some toenail clippers, maybe some, corn files, some corn pads for his mom's feet. Like, that's the only thing he's out there buying. And he probably just orders it on Amazon. You know what I mean? He has no idea about grocery prices. So, again, I mean, we're going to give Blake a double one today. You can fuck all the way off, Blake Neff, talking about grocery prices when you don't know. You have no idea what you're talking about, sir. Fuck all the way off with that. Just really. I should wear my fuck all the way off sweatshirt today. I just should have worn that, right? Because I feel like that's what he really needs to do. Seriously, what he needs to go find himself, doing. I'm over him today. He's such a moron. He said he called his mommy first. Exactly, Jess. Exactly. He calls his mommy first. He probably was just checking in with her for like the 5th time that day. Because he probably checks in with her a bunch of times a day. Hey, Mom, is my game still saved? We didn't have a power surge, did we? Good moron. You're gonna make meatloaf today? I really want some meatloaf, Mom. God, oh my God. Total dork. And I saved this clip. Baron Coleman actually put this on X, and he says the Too Many Coincidences segment has quickly become one of the most requested segments we've ever been asked to clip. It's a devastating rundown of coincidences we are asked to buy. We'll add it to the Clips channel in the coming days. But I want to take a look at it because I do want to hear all these coincidences. And I love Baron Coleman. He's so handsome. So I don't know if would you guys like to take a look at that with me. I'm going to put it on. If you don't want to see it, just type no in the chat. We got 11458. That's where it's at. Did he type
All right, guys,
there?
welcome in. And in the minutes afterwards. What a weird coincidence that your body cam footage just happens to die. What a weird coincidence. Nobody happened to be looking at any of the rooftops when everyone acknowledged that the rooftops looked particularly dire. What a weird coincidence that in the immediate aftermath, Terrell Farnsworth runs and jumps on a concrete embankment and starts filming himself.
I said that one too.
Declaring that they got Charlie. They killed Charlie. They shot Charlie.
Yeah, he said
What a weird
he said
coincidence
he's
that Frank
dead.
Turek just
Charlie's
happens
dead.
to pull on his hat right before Dan Flood looks at him pulling on his hat and steps forward and touches his upper arm. That's a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that Terrell Farnsworth just happens to stamp down on the ground for no apparent reason that we can discern right as the bang happens. What a weird coincidence that Philip Goldsberry Jr. just happens to shield his face and eyes like a half a second before it happened.
Wow, I missed that one.
What a weird coincidence that Rick Cutler tugs on his sleeve exactly as it happens. Lots of weird coincidences in that moment. It's possible they are just weird coincidences. But the more weird coincidences that we keep identifying, the more, and frankly, it's a weird coincidence that Charlie Kirk was supposed to be at Utah State University 20 days from now. And those are the two cops kind of overseeing the scene as it's being destroyed. That's a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence. The more weird coincidences that pop up, the more you start wondering, were these coincidences at all?
I don't
Were
think
these
so.
coincidences at all? Or was there some sort of cascade of checkoffs?
I don't know about a cascade of checkoffs, but I know there was a cascade of jerk-offs that day, right? A bunch of jerk-offs who did a bunch of things wrong. These coincidences, like I said, this is what I mean. If there was one, maybe two, we would be okay with it. We would accept the official narrative and shut the hell up, right? It's bad enough that they made us watch somebody get unalived. That is not a small thing. That's not a small thing. We are now getting, what is that, desensitized, right? Because we've seen it over and over and over again so many times. It's very desensitizing to have to watch that just to get these clues and look into this case. It's very horrible to have to watch it, but it's also desensitizing, right? We cannot forget how horrible that was. We cannot forget how that made us feel when they, forced us to watch this man get unalived. Then literally just manhandled all the way to the vehicle, right? We had to watch them tell two, not just one, but two EMTs. They just kind of, I don't even think they brushed them off. I think they just completely ignored them. And you know why I think they completely ignored them? I think they intentionally, in my opinion, allegedly, purposely ignored these two because they wanted to then later come back and say, we didn't see them at all. We didn't even know they were there. We didn't see them. Because that's exactly what Brian Harpole said in his interview with Sean Ryan. He said he didn't see them at all. He didn't see any EMTs that day. They were just nowhere to be found. You know what happened to them? They ran when the Big Bang happened, just like everybody else did, he says. And that's partly true. That's partly true. They did run off when the Big Bang happened and they took cover like everybody else did. But by the time they were picking Charlie up off the ground to manhandle him and drag him without supporting his neck in any way, without oh my God, it was so disgusting to watch just from that to get him to the vehicle, that should have been illegal. What they did should be a criminal offense, in my opinion, allegedly, because it was horrible and disgusting. And as terrible as it is, I want you all to remember what you felt when you saw that. I want you to remember what you felt when you first saw the unaliving, and then you saw them literally manhandle this man to the car. It was a horrible feeling. It was terrible. And they're, obviously desensitizing us with all watching it over and over again. They made that happen. They made us feel that and watch that and all this. And now they really have the audacity, like the whole audacity to tell us we're grifting off Charlie Kirk because we're talking about it, because we're upset about it. Because we don't believe the 8,294 coincidences that happened that day, right? We're just kind of like, enough coincidences. There's enough coincidences now. When we hit like coincidence number 3, we start scratching our head and going, what? We hit coincidence number 8. We're like, this something ain't right here. We hit coincidence number 300 and we're going, what? By the time we're at coincidence 8,700, whatever it is, we're just like, dude, come on now. Get the hell out of here. There's no way. And then they want to call us grifters and pieces of crap and all the other shit they're calling us, right? Whatever. Thank you, the Garrison Project, for the super chat. Reminding everyone, Blake's mom's corns caught me here. Oh, that's right, Garrison. I forgot about that. Yes, the corns. I just imagine that's what he does when he gets home, right? He's like scraping her corns and like doing all that. Like, I can't blame. And then poor Andrew, that's why Andrew always has that face. Andrew always has that face when he's sitting with Blake. He always got that face. It's because I think Blake smells like his mom's feet. He doesn't look like somebody who showers regularly. And he's scraping them feet and like in the toe jam and stuff all day. Like, no, I'm done. It's that in the video games. He's got the toe jam all over the video game controllers. Like, no, I'm over it. He's gross. But yeah, the coincidences are just too much. It's too much. We're over the coincidences, right? And I don't know, does he have more? Is this the end of the coincidences? There's got to be more.
And Hunter Kozak just happened to look at Brian Harpole and pull down on his glasses. What a weird coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Turk just happened to go to his hat and grab his hat to adjust it and then scratch his face. What a weird coincidence. Did Dan Flood just happen to look at him doing that and then look the other way and then step forward and touch his arm like milliseconds before the bang happened? What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence. I don't by any means suggest I know exactly what happened. I don't by any means suggest that all of these people were involved in some capacity. But if we're going to talk about weird coincidences, what a weird coincidence that Andrew Colvett just happened to run a pre-record for the second hour of the Charlie Kirk show that day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's a weird coincidence.
That very much so was.
What a weird coincidence that an airplane just happened to fly from Provo, Utah to where Andrew Colvette lives, Santa Barbara, and then to Scottsdale, just in time for someone to catch a plane from Scottsdale to Provo. A weird coincidence. Who was on that plane? What a weird coincidence that somebody at the airport tells Candace Owens that he cannot confirm or deny whether Erica Kirk was in his office or in his building the moment it happened. What a weird coincidence. Why wouldn't he be able to say no? Why would you think she was here? We sell airplanes. We're an airplane brokerage.
Yeah, what the hell was she doing? That's a huge, strange coincidence. A huge one, that one there. That had me something else, right? Because the story we heard from Erica Kirk was that she was with her mom at the doctor's appointment and she heard the news and she ran outside and then she just collapsed in the parking lot. She just was like, oh, and then like hit the ground. It just collapsed at the parking lot. But now we find out like she's an airplane broker. What? How's she an airplane broker? Like what? How'd that happen? It's kind of weird. Kind of strange to me.
Want a commercial aircraft, you come to the right place. If you are looking for Erica Kirk, that's nonsense. Why would she be here? What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that when she's challenged on where she was the evening of September 8th, she provides an alibi for where she was the day of September 9th. A weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that Blake Neff says initially he spent the night in Orem, Utah.
This one's real weird.
And later realizes the gravity of that implication and decides, no, in fact, I was in Salt Lake, Utah. What a weird coincidence. And what a weird coincidence that there was a bald man seen driving a Dodge Challenger in Orem, Utah that night. And
You
he
know
had three
my
passengers.
feelings about that one.
What a weird coincidence that Blake Neff shows up at the hospital with 3 passengers. Danny Phillip, Mikey McCoy, and Nate Walker. What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that Blake doesn't know where he went when he flew into Salt Lake City that morning. Despite the fact that there were planes coming from Scottsdale to Provo, he decides to go from Scottsdale to Salt Lake on the earlier flight, but doesn't know where he went after landing. Got in a car, marked time. What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence.
Now listen, I can honestly say I don't know any other bald guys that was in that area that day other than Blake Neff. He's the only bald guy I know that was in that area, right? The woman said she caught a bald man and 3 other dudes on her camera footage. I mean, not saying there's any connection, but
This is this cascade of weird coincidences. Everybody
Yes, it
seems to have
is.
an imperfect recollection of just about everything. And at some point, you have to stop and ask yourself, are these coincidences? What a weird coincidence that we happen to catch a Dodge Challenger at the scene, but we can't get a clear image of the person exiting the Dodge Challenger. What a weird coincidence that the guy who is the boyfriend, alleged boyfriend, purported boyfriend of Tyler Robinson can't identify him with a reasonable degree of certainty initially when he sees 6 pictures of his face. What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that he wasn't available to testify. What a weird coincidence that he just happened to take a picture of the pre-confession, the pre-event confession note. He just took a picture of it. And what a weird coincidence that he has no idea what happened to it, but it ended up burned. Can't find the note. Someone set it on fire. Who? I don't know. I never saw it again. I don't think I ever saw it again.
I didn't even realize that's what he said. Remember that? I think he came in on Friday. Lance did. I think he was the last one to come in, wasn't he? Because I think I closed down the stream at that time and he was just coming in or something, but I missed it. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed his full testimony. And I never did go back and watch because it gives me the ick. He's just so annoying and it's just so preposterous that I just have such a hard time watching it and I could never go back and watch it. I didn't realize he said this about this note. I mean, are you I don't know. I don't know what happened to the note. I mean, I took a picture of it and everything, like, you know, but I got like, oh, I don't know.
What a weird coincidence.
Unreal.
What a weird coincidence that Lance Twiggs' DNA is all over all the evidence. That's weird.
Yeah.
What a weird coincidence that Tyler Robinson's DNA is the most degraded of all the DNA. That's a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that they took the caution tape down shortly before midnight when the purported arrival of Tyler Robinson was around 12:47 p.m. to go back to the scene of where the rifle was recovered. And then they put the caution tape back up the next day. That's a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that they find items at the Losee Center, or at the library bus stop. And they send them off for DNA testing because they seem suspicious. But what a weird coincidence that it just happened to be one of Charlie Kirk's security people, his detailees, they said. That's weird. That's weird. What a weird coincidence that Mikey McCoy was supposedly the general in charge of everything, the admiral. And then later it comes out that we see video footage. He doesn't show up for a long time afterwards. I thought he was barking orders. Thought he was the man of the hour.
Yeah, I kind of almost felt like they were going to put Mikey McCoy in as the CEO. That's what I actually thought. Because they were coming out and saying all this amazing Mikey McCoy stuff. I was like, why did they want us to think he's so great? I don't understand. And then I thought, well, maybe they're going to make him the new CEO because he's like easily controllable and stuff like that. You know, he's a young kid. They can make him do whatever they want, etc. So I thought that was what was up with that. But I have a feeling there's more to the story with Mikey McCoy. I think they were just like, Mikey was kind of faltering a little bit. And they were like, oh no, we're going to make sure that you are good. You just stay on the path and, you know, you'll have no problems in the future. We'll make sure you're paid good and all this. I mean, not just allegedly, you know what I mean? I just had a feeling the great Mikey, but like they're building him up and he's so great and you know what I mean? It's kind of strange because it was weird that he kind of disappeared after that. Because like, where did he go for all those? Was he getting programmed? Like what? Why did he disappear for all those weeks? It was like weeks he was gone. He was everywhere for a while and then he was nowhere. It was very strange. Very, very strange.
A weird coincidence. A really weird coincidence. There's too many weird coincidences for me. I sit back and I look at this and I think, no, this is too many weird coincidences. What a weird coincidence that we were told for 10 months that Tyler Robinson confessed to his parents, and that was one of the main reasons why we knew he was guilty. And then when it came time to put up or shut up, they shut up because they didn't put Tyler Robinson's parents on the witness list and they didn't call them to the preliminary hearing. And so
that's right too.
We're pretty safe to believe he didn't tell them that. And that's not why he turned himself in. What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that when he did turn himself into the Washington County Sheriff's Office, that video footage just happens to be unavailable. That's weird.
That was weird. That was one of the first things that was one of the first coincidences that I thought was very strange. They reported that way early on. I mean, way early on. Way early, they got that out there. They were like, oh yes, you know, people requested it and they told them that it only stays up for 30 days. And unless somebody needs it for court or for whatever, they re-record over it or they get rid of it or whatever it is. So they got rid of his, right? Because nobody flagged it as important. So they were like, oh, we don't need this. We're just going to record over this one. You know, the guy who supposedly unalived the political figure, Charlie Kirk. We're just going to tape over that. No biggie. No biggie at all.
What a weird coincidence that a local news station asked for a copy of that, I believe, because everybody in town was saying he did not turn himself in at 9. He turned himself in well before 7 o'clock. And so they asked for the footage so they can answer the question once and for all, what time he turned himself in. And the Washington County Sheriff's Office refused to turn it over. And then when they refined the request and broadened their request to in an attempt to get anything, Washington County says, oh, doggone it, it's beyond our retention period. What a weird coincidence. They just happened to delete the footage. That was their story. And then what a weird coincidence when we find out they didn't delete it at all. They still had it. We saw a piece of it at the preliminary hearing.
Wait, what? Wait, what? How did I miss that? Are you kidding me? We saw a piece of that at the preliminary hearing? Oh, yeah, him standing in the... Was that him? Was that the piece he means when he was standing in the interrogation room or whatever it looked like? Oh my God, I think that's what he meant. Oh my God, I didn't know they had that still. So they lied about it. They lied and said they didn't have it. Oh my goodness. I'm just mind blown right now. I did not realize this. Holy crap. I mean, come on. And we're like 10 minutes in and there's still so many coincidences. We ain't even done talking about the coincidences that we were, like I said, we're on like 8,000. I wish I would have counted. I'm going to have to rewind this back later and count them and see what ones he, count how many there are. Because this is absolutely absurd. Let me see if I can even speed him up talking. Yeah, I should be able to. Let's see here. I like to do it on 1.25. And I suggest too, guys, if you guys are watching, if you're ever watching my videos, you should put them on 1.25 as well, because it just makes them easier to watch. And I don't sound weird on 1.25.
They lied. What a weird coincidence that they lied to the news media about whether or not they had that footage.
Very weird, Baron.
What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that somebody at Cowboys Steakhouse in Panguitch, Utah, close to 10 o'clock p.m., identifies Tyler Robinson by voice, by face, remembers what he ate, remembers what time he left, produced a receipt. What a weird coincidence. Because according to his text messages, he was supposed to be sitting back in Utah monitoring the scene, trying to recover the rifle.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. That's a huge one right there. And the fact that they didn't bring this up at all in court, none of that, like literally that alibi could completely just ruin everything, right? If he was actually there, like he had to have left at a certain time to get there, kind of screws up the timeline, at least for what some of these text messages or some of the things that like went on. Like we're very confused about this, and why they wouldn't investigate this is absolutely mind-boggling to me. That's the thing. They did no investigation. They only investigated. They did some investigating. They only investigated the things that would lead them to Tyler Robinson being the culprit. That's the only things they looked at. They refused to see anything else. Nothing else. They had one vision, and that was what they were looking for. Any evidence, anything that they could find that would connect him to that unaliving. They didn't care about the rest. They didn't care about, broadening that investigation, investigating anybody around Charlie Kirk. Just such a huge disappointment. I mean, such a huge disappointment. Seriously.
What a weird coincidence. For an open and shut case, there are a lot of weird coincidences. And at a certain point, you got to throw up your hands and say, guys, this needs to be investigated a little better. I mean, frankly, what a weird coincidence that one of Tyler Robinson's lawyers is related to one of the people who was there that day, allegedly. I don't know that I've ever seen proof of that, but it's stated so often as fact, and I'm not aware of anybody ever saying that's not true. That's a weird coincidence.
I'll say.
What a weird coincidence that the medical examiner, his wife, cosplays as a furry. So does Tyler's live-in cosplays as a furry. That's what we're told. What a weird coincidence that is.
That's
how many medical examiners' wives are furries? There's not a lot of them.
Anybody know how many medical examiners' wives are furries? Oh my God, I love Baron. I cannot. That's such a good question, though. Like, how many medical examiners do we know of whose wives are furries? Thank you, RL, for this super chat. What a weird coincidence that Lance's mouth stops moving about halfway during his testimony. Yeah, there's another weird coincidence. I mean, I just can't with that. I just can't with that stuff. And that guy Spidey, who does the behavioral arts, he actually looked at that testimony of Lance, and he found some red flags in there. He found some big red flags where he thinks like, there's a little more to the story that he's just not telling. And he also found a couple of inconsistencies in what Lance said in his testimony, and evidently in the text messages that he took a picture of, or somebody took a picture of a phone that had some text messages on. If we don't know who the text messages were from or anything, but like, trust me, bro, like, this is Tyler. Anyways, thank you, RL, for the super chat. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, it's so many coincidences. How many more coincidences could there be? Baron, seriously, I put you on 1.25 because this is a lot of coincidences. Where are we at? We're only at the, like, oh my God, we haven't even gotten to the court hearing yet. Is there coincidences in the court hearing? I mean, this is absolutely insane. This is absolutely insane. Look at how much more we have. Like, this is crazy.
I think Joseph Scott Morgan told me there were like 600 in the country. What are the odds?
Yeah. What are the
That
odds?
one of them is married to a furry
Yeah.
who writes scholarship on furrydom.
Furrydom.
What a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence. All these new people. What a weird coincidence that the special agent in charge in Utah was fired not terribly long before this and a new one was installed. What a weird coincidence that we have a brand new judge who was just appointed by the governor. What a weird coincidence. This is all weird. And so when people sit back and sort of ask questions, frankly, what a weird coincidence that all these weird Google searches were done ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Forgot
weird.
about those.
That's
yes.
really weird.
Yes.
That identify people by name who were there that day or affiliated in some capacity with this story.
That's wild.
What a weird coincidence that Charlie Kirk's medical records were transferred to University Hospital in Provo. Why? Is this
Yeah,
normal?
that's not
Is this
the
something that
thing.
hospitals routinely do, is sort of bomb their medical records into someone else's system, unaware, for no
That's-
reason whatsoever?
That's really weird, too. What's up with
In
that?
the age of HIPAA? In the age of everybody protect medical records at all costs? We're just going to fire off patient medical records to emergency departments in other cities for no apparent reason. People who've never been to that hospital, who are now dead and will never go to that hospital.
Oh my
We're just going to
God.
bomb his medical records over there? Why?
Oh, my God.
That's really weird. What a weird
Indeed.
coincidence that at the moment it happened, an elderly gentleman named George Hodgson Zinn stands up and starts screaming, I did it, I did it, I did it, and is tackled, and all the police response goes to him.
Yeah, you know what? Didn't he even say somebody paid him to do that? Did we ever find out who paid him to do that? Is that what he said? Someone paid him to do that? How do we not know these things? That's the thing. How do we not know all this information? It's just wild. It's this investigation sucked. They investigated nobody but Tyler Robinson.
Well, that's a weird coincidence. What a weird coincidence that Jack Hibbs's brother was one of the first people to announce that he was there. Jack Hibbs's brother was there, and then Jack Hibbs was one of the first people to announce that Charlie Kirk has passed, and Victor Marx, and Benjamin Netanyahu. That's weird.
Yeah, I'll say.
That's weird. When you look at all of it, when you put the whole story together, yeah. Tyler's DNA's on the gun. We get that. We understand that. Trust me, bro. We got that.
He said it too. Trust me,
Tyler
bro.
lived in that house, and so his DNA is on the tools in the house. We got it. We got it. Do you have any explanation for all the rest of this stuff? The totality of all these weird coincidences, when you put them all together, does anybody's red flags and alarm bells start going off and saying, yeah, what the hell's going on here? What's happening here? Why are all of these weird coincidences happening? And what a weird coincidence. They paved over the crime scene.
Oh,
5 days
yeah.
later.
Jeez.
Dug it
forgot
up the
about
following
that.
day or a day after. That's weird.
That's very weird.
That's weird. What a weird coincidence that they stripped the SUV and sold it like immediately.
Yeah.
What a weird coincidence that Frank Turek told a police officer, you can't have this piece of evidence. I'm giving it to his wife. What? That's his story. I believe we played it on air. That Frank Turek discovers the
right.
necklace that Charlie was wearing when he died. That I very much think should be in evidence. And he was asked by a police officer to hand it over, and he said no. That's his story.
And any police officer that just allowed him to keep that, come on. You know what I mean? What kind of police officer would be like, oh, okay, sir, sorry about that. Yeah, keep it. What kind of officer would allow that? That's wild.
I don't know how anyone looks at this and says, yeah, open and shut. Open and shut.
Yeah.
No question. Open and shut. What are we even doing? Why are we even having a trial? Go ahead and stick a needle in his arm right now. We are bloodthirsty and we want this man dead. That's what they're telling you.
Yeah, it is.
They want to disregard every one of these
agree.
coincidences and 100 more just like them.
I agree.
I'm not willing to look the other way. I look at this and I think, no, this case is very much not open and shut. And we owe both Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk a thorough examination in what exactly the hell happened.
I really don't think Charlie Kirk would be cool with what they did here. I don't think so. I don't think he would have been like, yes, great. Did a great job on this investigation. You guys, you deserve an award for this one. I really don't think I don't think he would be. I just, something inside me says, I don't think so. I just don't think so. It's just wild. Just wild. This person, Nikki here, says, whoa, hold the F up. Candace just identified the second man on the Losee roof with Officer Bagley. It's the same guy that helped Terrell Farnsworth get the first and second SD card out of the cameras. They're the ones that colluded with Terrell to remove the evidence. The guy in the blue shirt too. And I guess she shows it over here. Terrell's back and there's the guy, I guess. So that's Terrell. And that was the guy. Okay, here he is walking back down. Is that him with the khaki colored pants on the phone? There's Terrell in the crime scene. Just wandering around, messing around, doing what it do. Doing what he do. Removing the second SD card there. Wow. And he's like, yeah, make sure you wow. That was a good catch. That was a very good
Let's
catch.
show them on that rooftop again.
Very good catch on that one. Anyways, this Mason Lemmy, I just had to show you guys this because he is always on these guys about everything they do. He can't stand them. He said, my message to Turning Point USA and the Charlie Kirk Show, we do not care. And here's a little clip of him telling them off, which I just saved for you guys because I kind of feel the same way. Like, I don't know what Blake and Andrew think they are doing on the Charlie Kirk Show. Okay, I don't have a clue why they feel. I mean, do they have an audience? Is there anyone in their audience, or are they paying bots to like load his audience full of people? I don't know. But Blake usually broadcasts his thing on X. Andrew broadcasts one on X. So they have two broadcasts going, plus they do it on YouTube. So I haven't figured out how to broadcast our live streams on X. I got to figure that out. I think these guys do. I don't know how. Jeannie, you probably know. You could probably help me. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. Let's hear what Mason has to say. I love this kid. He's so hilarious, and he's just so on point with everything.
Million subscribers.
I think, they prefer Rubio. So it's all a proxy war for 2028, right? And they want to.
I just want to say this. I don't think Andrew, Blake, any of these Turning Point people, they don't realize it for some reason. We don't give a flying F what they think about any other political issue other than September 10th.
Exactly.
They've lied, they've covered stuff up, they've demonized and smeared people like Candace, Barron, etc. We don't care what they think. You want to talk about the border, you want to talk about other elected officials, you want to talk about the economy, you want to talk about culture and pop culture and movies and stuff and sports and stuff. We do not care at all. Like at all, zero. Anytime.
Yeah, I don't that's my thing. I don't understand how they feel, how they kind of figure. that for some reason the public is interested in anything they have to say. Anything they have to say at all. Anything they think, anything they have to say, the public doesn't care. They're allegedly, in my opinion, allegedly, they're idiots. They're idiots. I mean, who cares what Andrew thinks about anything? Isn't he a PR guy or some shit? Like what? And Blake, I mean, oh my gosh, all you do is file corns and clip toenails. You stink like toe jam, allegedly. You're allegedly still a virgin. You have no real world experience because you live in your mom's basement, allegedly. Nobody can, literally, seriously. I mean, I can't. If you like and love what Blake Neff has to say, please put a 1 in the chat. If you think he's he's the left nut and Andrew is the right nut, put a 2 in the chat. I would have to say number 2. I don't think anybody cares what he has to say. I don't think literally anyone in the entire world cares what Blake Neff has to say. I read his posts just because I like to use him for content. People love to see what he has snarky, that he thinks he got one up on Candace all the time. And it's hilarious. But other, like, his opinions on world things, and like, no one really cares. Like, yeah, I mean, what is your opinion? How are you qualified to, like, how are you qualified to give your opinion on any of this? You are nowhere near how Charlie Kirk was. You're nowhere near as brilliant as Charlie Kirk. Charlie actually gave opinions based on the substance, you know what I mean, in his brain. These guys are just like spouting off the dumbest shit ever. Oh, Charlie would have thought that too. Like, oh my God, shut the hell up with that, because you have no idea what Charlie would have thought, because Charlie was a genius and you're an idiot. You can't really put 2 idiots together and get 1 genius. You just can't do it. Thank you, Just Jessica. Unalivings started with Corey to Charlie, and then the employees of Explosive Lab. Justice for all. Agreed. From the Butler thing all the way to the lab explosion, all of this was like linked in some way. I totally agree. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Yeah, there was tons of it. And like KK, there was 0 crime scene tape to preserve evidence. Agreed. Like, they're all just bumbling around there. And then at some point you see people picking shit up. They're just picking things up off the ground. And it's like super weird. It's super weird. It's like, what the hell? What are these people thinking? I don't understand. 2. Yep, 2. We got a 1 and a 2. 2. Oh, my bad. Jesus says Blake's not a virgin. He's a butt pirate. My bad. That could be true. That's why I say allegedly, because I'm not 100% sure. That's why I say, like, allegedly, he's still a virgin, but he might be a butt pirate. You're right. Ames says 2. Scotty says 2. Jeannie says 2. Scotty puts a bunch of 2s. Yeah. Is there anyone in chat that previously supported Team USA, or are we all outsiders looking in? And guys, I have a little tidbit to show you of the rejection letter. Like, they're sending out letters to people to beg for donations, and one of these people that has recently quit Turning Point USA has some receipts of, like, people sending letters back to Turning Point about, like, don't ask me for money, like, eat a bag of D's, like that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show you what they had. She has like a little collection of these letters that people are writing back to them saying, like, don't ask me for shit, that kind of thing. Byron says 2. Mary says 2. Yeah, bunch of 2s. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Yes. I like to say left nut, right nut. Jess and Fam says 2. Yes. Blake's pet goat said he's not a virgin. Snoops. Okay. Maybe he's not a virgin. My bad. Coco Bean says 2. Idiot plus idiot equals F-tard. Yep. Mm-hmm. What was Blake's job? I think he was the producer of the Charlie Kirk show. I don't know exactly what that entails. I'm really not sure. Garen says too. I left my job digging up 10 inches of sod to be here. Ulu says too. Yeah, by Christmas they'll be selling souvenirs. Exactly. Yeah. And you know what I think? I have a feeling that Tyler Robinson is going to end up getting off. Like he's gonna get released after all this. Because only because they left this over to the Utah state to proceed with charges on him. Because if you think about it, the feds have like a 95% success rate. So when they decide to take someone to trial, they don't do it unless they have literally like open and shut case, like evidence to prove whatever. They very rarely fail when they bring a case on somebody, very rarely. And so I think maybe that's part of the reason they sent this to Utah instead of keeping it in the feds, because I mean, come on, you would think that would be a federal case. I don't know. You just would think so, since Charlie Kirk, like, I don't think he lived in Utah, right? So he was like in a different state when this happened. And I don't know, it just feels weird to me. So I think that might be why they sent it over to the state, because they knew that there could perhaps be some type of, I just don't know. So yeah, that was just my opinion on that little piece there. But okay, let's hear what Mason continues to say. He voices things so well. I just love
I see them post about something other than Charlie Kirk. I'm like, we don't care. You guys lied. Why are you lying about the courtroom stuff? Why are you lying about evidence? Why are you lying about you don't remember what you did or where you were that day? Like, why are you lying? So they keep trying to push on Charlie's mission, like, oh, Turning Point's still doing good stuff. We don't care. Like, we don't care at all. Like 0%, not like 2%. Like, oh, hey, Turning Point said that. Oh, I agree with them. No. No one watches the show. Charlie Kirk's channel has 6 million subscribers almost, and they average like 5,000 views per video. It's the same show. It's the same channel. So it disgusts me, honestly, because it's so deceptive. They're like, oh, we have Christian, masculine, conservative values, and we're pushing on Trump. No. We don't care. You're lying. You're lying about so many things, and we think you're evil. So why would we care what you think about the freaking economy or a movie that comes out or freaking Sophie Cunningham in the WNBA? We don't care, guys. You guys are losers. Nobody likes you guys. Do you know how many people I've met within Turning Point, outside of Turning Point, just regular people that have said, dude, I love Candace. Like, her episode was crazy, or like, I love her so much. Her and Charlie were so good friends. So many people. You know how many people I've talked to? I know a lot of people, especially in the political world now, that have said, dude, did you see the Charlie Kirk show the other night? Oh my gosh, dude, I love Blake and Andrew. Like, they're so cool. Like, they're so entertaining. Like, they're so fun. No. I've never heard anything remotely close to that. And
that is so true. That is so 100% spot on. Who in the world has any of you guys heard anybody say that? Like, dude, did you see the Charlie Kirk show? It was so good. Blake and Andrew were cracking me up. They're so amazing. They bring such good information. I love their point of view. They're so brilliant. They're so smart. He's so right. I never really even thought of just how, nobody ever talks about them, only to say negative things. They are probably living off of negative comments. Just like, I mean, that's what I think Paramount Tactical does, right? He goes over there and he talks so much smack on Candace, and then everybody in Candace's audience literally tells him off. And that's how he makes money on X, because people tell him off. I literally think that's the only way he makes money. So if we just quit telling him off and just ignored him, he wouldn't be posting anything, because he wouldn't be making any money on his posts.
not even that. I haven't heard anything like neutral, like, oh, I don't know. No, I've heard negative, because everyone knows they're lying losers that aren't entertaining, that aren't funny, that aren't truthful. So why would we care what they think about any other political issue when they've lied about the assassination of Charlie Kirk? It makes no sense, and it actually pisses me off. And it's one of the reasons why I think he had foreknowledge, Erica had foreknowledge, and a bunch of other people had foreknowledge, because the amount of suspicious things that happened on that day is actually uncanny. I don't use that word very often because it's like it's a niche word, but it's uncanny how many suspicious, weird things happened that day that literally make no sense.
Yep.
At all. Evil will be exposed. Dead ass. Evil will be exposed. Because these people are satanic and they're demonic, and they're deceitful above all things, and they use the Christian faith to justify that. It is a deception of the Christian faith, and I will not stand for it. Jesus is king, and these people are freaking evil. That's what I got.
JD.
Wow. I mean, he has such a strong opinion. You know what I mean? You can tell he's really affected by this, right? He knew Charlie Kirk, right? He was a chapter leader. He was a chapter leader and he knew Charlie Kirk, and this just makes him very upset. And he makes all very good points, right? He makes some very good points on all of it, really. Let's see. This is another story I wanted to cover with you guys. There is a reporter, Brianna Morello, and an intruder, a stalker. This guy is stalking her. He follows her home. Okay. I'm not going to leave this on the screen because I don't know if it shows a firearm, but he's stalking her. And he gets into her building. He comes in behind her and she pulls a weapon out on her. And he says, you know, or she calls the police or whatever. Sorry, I got distracted by a message. She calls the police and they're harassing her about pulling her thing. What, after a stalker's up her ass trying to like get in her house. It's crazy. So I wanted to maybe cover this in a separate video, but not if you guys aren't going to watch it. If you're not going to watch it, I'm not going to cover it. So if you don't want to see it, let me know you don't want to see it. But I just think it's an interesting story because this woman's only trying to defend herself and they harass her about it. Like, that is totally obscene. Okay, totally obscene in my opinion. So I would like to talk about it and show you guys about it. So let me know in chat if you would not like to hear about it. Just say no, don't care. All right. So anyways, this is the next clip, next post I wanted to show you guys. So a woman owning the same make and model SUV used by Charlie had her husband, who's the same height, approximately the same weight as Charlie Kirk, lay across the seats. This gives us a good visual of what it would have looked like for Charlie and why his legs indeed would have been hanging out of the SUV. And I feel like it is true. The visuals definitely help, right? So here would have been his legs hanging out, but probably even more so because this door wasn't open where his head was. This door was closed, right? So they have him laying across the seats. Plus there's somebody literally in this seat, right? Where his head was. I guess his top of his body was laying across the whoever was that, Dan Flood back there with Brian Harpole? I can't remember. And then you got Brian Harpole on the other side, I guess kneeling or something, maybe in the middle-ish. I don't know. He said by his feet hanging out the door. But like, look how little room there is in this thing. There's very little room. There's just very little room. How in the world? Oh, Cutler. Okay. Yeah, so Cutler's in the back by his head. It's just weird. Like, how did they even all fit in here? I mean, unreal. I thought it's strange that he's laying across these captain's chairs anyways. This had to be so strange and uncomfortable, right? I left K9 training with Victor Marks to be here. Yeah, those are bucket seats in the back, Jeannie. You can see there's like a gap right there by his booty. You might be able to see it. No, you can't really see it here. But yeah, the seats are pulled far up in this though, so I don't know. They had to have been pushed further back when you know, they had Charlie in there. But I just, you know, just found it weird. Just found it weird because his arms in that wouldn't have been hanging out the front, and he would have been face up, not face down. I wish he would have laid face down face up. Because it seems like his butt is right in the middle of those captain's chairs. And if he was laying face up, you know, his body would have bent in the middle because, you know, your butt would have bent like this in the middle of the captain's chairs, if that's where his butt was. So just a little bit strange to me. Just a little bit strange to me. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't call 911. Evidently someone called 911, but you know, we don't know who it is yet. Candace is going to reveal that eventually. She might even reveal that tonight. I can't wait till she comes on tonight and let us know some more information. All right. So Aaron Elaine says, hang tight because all of the TPUSA whistleblowers are about to come forward at roughly the same time. No amount of intellectual jumping jacks in the world will save those who have lied on Charlie Kirk's name and legacy. So I think there's something brewing here, guys. Something is brewing. These guys are going to start just bombarding the social media with what they've got, what they know, what they've been through, etc. I don't know. You can't get 911 calls until the hearing is over. You can't. I mean, I tried to get the Britney Spears one and they would not give it to me until her court case was over. So I know that much. Let me see. Where is it? Hold on. Trying to find a comment. Oh, wait. I stopped yanking and banking to be here. Yeah, Candace had a diagram of where everyone was, right? That's what I mean. Yeah, his body would be sinking. Like if his butt was right in the middle there, what would have just bent like automatically, right? Yes, please hit the like. If you are here, please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Here it is. Okay. The last few months I was at Turning Point, emails like this became the norm when I reached out to recruit people. They can deny it all they want. The public already decided. They know America is waking up. And excuse me, these are some of the emails that she's getting. And she's like, hi, this is Kelvia from Turning Point Action. I cover the Glendale area. Thank you for signing up to get involved with us. I host a ton of fun, blah, blah, blah. And the response is Charlie's gone and Turning Point is run by liars and incompetence, greed, and conspirators. Email is Zionist. That's the email she get back. Let me make sure you guys are seeing this. Can you see this? These are so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is Turning Point Action, right? She was with TP Action. Here's another one. Join our local Turning Point Action community. Hi, this is Kelvy from Turning Point Action, etc. Here's the response. Hello, please unsubscribe me from your mailing list. I can no longer support any TPUSA entities. Best, Derek. Here we are again. Hi, this is Kelvy from Turning Point Action. Not really up for joining an evil Israel before America demonic cult. You really should find another job because this place will not look good on your resume. Oh my God, guys, these are amazing. These are amazing. So these are the emails, right? Not really up for joining an evil Philadelphia before America demonic cult. You really should find another job because this place will not look good on a resume. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I thought you guys would enjoy that because we see them out there, right? Erica talking about how everybody's joining and how it's so great and et cetera, et cetera. And we kind of knew that things were going bad for them once they started recruiting everybody at every age, right? It used to just be college people and then they started with the high schoolers, right? Making chapters and college chapters, high school chapters. And then she comes out at that chapter meeting. She was like, look, we got chapters for all ages. Anybody of all ages can join our chapters. We have stuff for people that are 0, newborns to, death. And you never have to quit. She said, you never have to quit. You can always be a member of Turning Point USA for life. For life. I left my room studying the Bible for 8 months to be here. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Yeah, how did Rick Cutler forget Frank giving Charlie mouth-to-mouth CPR while Charlie's head was on his lap? That's a good question, Kennedy. That's a genius question right there. That is the best question of the day. I stopped kissing a mannequin's hands in a casket to be here. Yes, those chapter email responses are fabulous. I love the one where he's like, you need to get a new job because this isn't going to look good on a resume. That's so true. People are gonna be like, oh, you work for Turning Point? Oh, no, sorry. No can do. Now imagine you work for Turning Point for all these years, right? Just you're big, you're really in there, right? Maybe you're higher up, you make decent money, whatever. When Turning Point finally tanks and you got to go find a new job, the only thing you might have on your resume is Turning Point USA. Imagine these poor people, how are they ever going to get a job again? It's like probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. Crazy. Yeah, and then we've have Diligent, who posted, remember when Charlie Kirk's camera crew heard him get you-know-whatted and then pivoted the position where he would be brought out behind the tent instead of even looking his way? I do. So they hear it, and instead of checking to see if he's okay, look, security's doing, they pivot to get the back of the tent. They pivot around to video the back of the tent where they're going to be dragging him out so they can catch it on camera. I mean, interesting video at the very least. Interesting video. I like to watch these a little bit slower to try to catch anything strange. Yeah, I find it strange they just pivot and it is whatever. Even the camera, even this person in the red with a giant backpack with a camera pivots and starts heading that way. Now, maybe they're running away. I don't know. But it seems like the other camera guy, the one at the top here, he pivots around to the back of the tent so he can catch all the action coming out of the tent. It's like, let me get some more of that. And remember the other day we watched a video where the lady heard the bang. She's like jumps and she gets back on the camera looking directly at Charlie again, looking, watching Charlie, whatever, get on live. She didn't even leave her post. She just was like back at the camera after the shot rang out. Crazy. Why is Officer Tatum so involved in pro-life vans and pre-born organizations? I don't know. I really don't follow him. He annoys me, and so I can't watch. I get too pissed off when I see people that annoy me. So that is such a good idea, Deed. That is such a good idea. I guess it's D Dog. I should call you D. That's a good idea, D. I really wish we knew who that was. I'm sure somebody will find them. Yeah, the table, the chair he was sitting on, probably even the tent. I imagine everything in that area would have been sprayed with something. Although, I don't know, his shirt may have held most of it underneath the shirt because it didn't, the shirt didn't blow apart or anything. So I don't know. I just think the whole thing's crazy. I mean, all these things. Yeah, I agree. Tatum is a babbling moron, in my opinion. Yeah, I can't listen to him. He annoys me. I don't know. I guess I don't mind when people are like very confident with their deliveries, but I just don't like when they're so confident with their deliveries and I don't know, something about him. I don't like it. He just seems like he would be a jerk, and I don't like jerks. Yes. Yeah, Niecy blows my mind too. She's been uncovering left and right, just all kind of stuff. She uncovered most of this stuff that we talked about today that Candace found, that Candace was talking about. She uncovered all the movements of that officer, all the inconsistencies in his testimony with the movements that she clocked in the videos. It's absolutely wild. She is so good at this stuff. Really. Yeah, and he offends everybody else. Yeah, because I feel like I'm confident too when I say things, but I'm for the most part, I might come across confident, but I'm joking and just being silly and things like that. Like I don't really get too cocky about things. I mean, I think I'm confident about things, but I'm not cocky. I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference. I don't know. I just don't. His delivery, man, he just irks me. I watched 2 seconds of his stuff and I'm like, bitch. Yeah, I don't know why Terrell Farnsworth did not face any consequences for disturbing an active crime scene multiple times. I think because he was with that guy in the hat that was running the crime scene, right? It looked like he was with him in that video that we watched earlier. They were both together. So he was probably directed to recover those things from the unknown man, right? They were trying to keep secret. Guys running around controlling the crime scene, and they're trying to keep it a big old secret. Yeah, Alan Robertson, that's who it is. His timeline is sus. Exactly. Just a lot of things that just totally. Oh, I got a good song from Jake. Good song from Jake you guys might like. I'll just play it because it's great. I wanted to play the Erica songs because they're funny, but this one's a good one too. So we're gonna take a listen. All right.
Might have killed a million people, but at least he could.
Let me pull it up in full screen. I don't know why it does that to me. And it's a little loud, so let me turn it down a little bit so we don't blast out eardrums. Okay.
Dictators used to be hot like Joseph and Saddam. Years later, now they are not. I feel like something's wrong. Joseph Stalin from the Soviet. Might have killed a million people, but at least he could get it with a beautiful hairline and a jaw that could cut. He might have done war crimes, but damn, he looked good. Dictators used to be hot like Joseph and Saddam. Years later, now they are not. I feel like something's wrong. These traitors used to look good, now they're just ugly pigs. All angles killing the mood. Saddam Hussein had a brutal regime, but with a smile like that, he had me going insane. And Donald just looks horrid. His skin looks just like porridge. Dictators used to be hot, but now they're not. Dictators used to serve face, and now they're just nothing threatening the human race. And now I'll tell you something: stop being ugly, stop serving ice, stop killing people in the streets. It's not nice. Walls are ugly, so is a soul. There is no beauty to your control. There is no beauty to your control.
I love his shirt. Look at his shirt. I love it. He's got the big chihuahua on. I thought you guys would enjoy that one. I usually don't get flagged for Jake's music because it is original music. He writes it himself and he doesn't copyright it on YouTube. So I think we'll be okay, Jeannie. Thanks for the warning though. But yeah. And if so, I'll just cut it out. I actually got flagged yesterday. We watched something and I accidentally left the volume on for probably, I think it was like 5 seconds. The volume was on for 5 seconds and it was just like scary music. It wasn't even like music. It was just like ambiance music behind the video we watched and it flagged me for that. It's like, I was like, all right, I have to cut it out. So whatever it was that we watched, it had to get cut out of there. It was crazy. Yeah, he writes all this himself. Let me try to show you the Erica videos. They're hilarious. I want to see if I can I usually can't get the volume to work with them though. Let me see if I can get it to work. Maybe you can hear it. Why am I in this video? I don't understand. Hang on. Let me take it off. There's got to be one I'm not in. Why am I in that one? Let me see this one too. Yeah, I'm in these stupid videos. Why? Let me just look at them first to make sure I'm not in them. I don't know why my face is coming up on them. I cut them for you guys, I thought. Erica songs. Or maybe it's just showing me for a second because oh no, I'm in the whole thing. It's a 10-minute video and he's not even in this one. All right, I have to find them again for you guys. I thought I had them. Maybe they're on his TikTok. Oh wait. Okay, yeah, let me just look them on TikTok, right? Let's see. They are so good. Actually, he might have it on his X account. Let's just go there and see if we can find it. He has the dictators. It would be so long ago, probably. Well, let me just look up the name. Let's see. Frosted Jake, Erica. I don't know how to look it up. I'm not gonna find him here, I bet. No. Not gonna find it. Oh, well, I thought I would find it for you guys. I'm sorry. So I wanted to show you this other guy, right? This guy just comes out of the blue. I found him somehow on X. I think I was searching something with Candace Owens, right? I had her name in the search. And for some reason, this D-bag comes up. Dr. Joseph Ford Cotto. Okay. 435.1 thousand posts. 435,000 posts. That's a lot. That's a lot. He's got a lot of followers, whatever. Followed by the Diddy Docket, Conspiracy for Beginners, and 27 others that I follow. But he's out here really. Look, Candace Owens is scum. Tucker Carlson is trash. So's Thomas Messi and Steve Bannon. Marjorie Taylor Greene, too. That he's got, look, 86 likes out of his hundreds of thousands of followers. Tucker's trash. Candace is scum. No likes on this one. Tucker's trash. Candace is scum. I mean, it's like every day. It's like every day. It's weird. Look, you got 2 likes on this one. Mark Levin is great. Tucker Carlson sucks. Same post over and over and over again. Look at this. He just reposts his same post 35,000 times, it looks like. Look how weird this is. But he's starting in on Candace. BB is more American than Tucker is. Do you agree? This is so weird. Here's another one. Candace is scum. Like, what the hell? I mean, what is that about? I just found it like the weirdest thing in the world. Like, why is this guy do like that's so douchey? That is so douchey to just like, I don't know, act like that. Let me pull up my thing again and bring you back over here. And then I'm going to look for, what I say, TikTok. There he is, Frosted Jake on TikTok. Let's see if I can find the Erica songs. Let me just Google it. Go to his page. I guess you just don't get to know what the titles are on these. Good Lord. Hang on, let me type this in. Okay, here we got a good one. All right, y'all can see this. This is one of the best songs I ever heard. Okay, here we go. Are you all ready? Get your dancing shoes on. You ready?
Morning, I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO, and I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
America is very, very scary. Like where is your haircut? It looks like systemic oppression. Girl, get out of my face, Erica Kirk. You're stupid as fuck and be the jerk. Erica Kirk, can you go away? I'm missing the days when I didn't know who you were. Erica, it's not Erica that you're filming, girl. Apart as the cut, and it makes me play. And I question what your motivations truly are. Erica Kirk, you're stupid as fuck and be the jerk. Erica Kirk, can you go away? I'm missing the days when I didn't know who you were. You're so dumb, stupid bitch. What the hell are you doing? Nothing. You look like a witch that is pooing.
He said you look like a witch who is pooing. I can't. And then he makes another one because yeah, she's I guess sent him a cease and desist letter over that song. Okay? Turning Point USA or somebody in their whatever sent him a cease and desist and said that Erica Kirk is not stupid as Ferk and he wasn't allowed to say that anymore. They literally sent him a letter, and this is the song he made in response.
Erica Kirk, I will not be. When Erica.
Every morning I wake up.
Sorry, my mouse.
to
Every time I touch it, it does something weird. Hang on.
When Erica sends you a cease and desist, sis, I'm deceased. Do I reply to her? Do I like resist? Sis, I'm not pleased, but it's funny. She wants money, honey, like a bunny in the sunny. Babe, I'm busy, girl, and fix not a word. I should call you Erica, absurd, busy girl. Like, please go away, and don't you have kids? Stop hating, girl. Like, what if one of your kids turns out to be gay? I have to reply to other emails, so I don't gaff about yours.
Oh my gosh.
All of your outfits are shitty retail. Like, do you shop at Kohl's? Wait, I love Kohl's. It's a great store. So many deals on the racks galore. I'm busy, girl, and folks not a word. I should call you Erica, absurd, busy girl. Please go away. Don't you have kids? Stop hating, girl. Fuck you, fuck your mom, fuck your dog, and fuck your face. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm being rude. Your husband died, it's a disgrace. But can you please stop hating, girl? Hating.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah, he's like, Ferk's not a word. They sent him a letter and it's like, please stop calling Erica stupid as Ferk. I thought that was hilarious. Totally hilarious. Like, what do you mean? It's like Ferk's not a word. I guess you really shouldn't have to tell somebody that. I mean, they should just know Ferk isn't a word. It's kind of strange. Yeah, just kind of weird. Let's see. I think I covered everything I had pulled out for y'all today. Yeah, we got the Blake Neff being a doofus. Yep. Think I did it. I think I got it all except that story about that lady who was stalked basically and wasn't allowed. They blocked an investigation into a man who was allegedly stalking women in their area, and then that man followed her to her home and wouldn't leave until she pulled out her you know what on him. So it's a pretty interesting story. I think I might cover it, but are you guys going to watch it? Like, are you going to watch it? Is everybody going to watch it? Did you guys hit the like? Did you guys help me out and hit the like button? Please, I beg of you. And also, I mean, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the week, this week. So I really need your help. I can't do it all by myself. I definitely need your help. So please subscribe. Please share out this live stream. I'm going to go ahead and probably cut some of it for a video because some people don't watch the lives. They like it in smaller video form. So I'll probably do that. But yeah, please hit that like button. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the songs. I really need to, I thought I cut those into individual videos so I could like pop them in a video here and there when I was talking about Erica. Then I forgot all about them, but I could have sworn I had them cut, but I don't. So now I'm like, I really have to go back and do it because, you know, they're great songs. We need some more of that in our life, right? But thank you guys so very much. I love you all so very much. Thank you, thank you. And I will see you guys on the next one.
Let's wrap on this night. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a final word before you go. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you got a laugh, it was all worth it. If you didn't like it, I don't give a shit. Don't be a monster, hit the like. Help me out, smash subscribe. Turn on notifications, don't miss the show. Hit the like before you go. Don't be a monster, hit the like. Help me out, smash subscribe. Turn on notifications, don't miss the show. Hit the like before you go. Subscribe.